Hope you had a great weekend. This week we are comparing and contrasting histograms. So today I will go over different types of graphs and show how we can use them to display different types of data and when to kind of use each type of graph. If you need a recap, make sure you check out the link that I put in the slide or look at the videos that I posted last week for a quick recap on histograms. But before we get started, I do have a little trivia for you. This is the last week of school, and I thought I would share a few of my favorite rappers with you guys, but you guys have to guess them. So this rapper covered a gospel song made famous by Donnie McClurkin. It came out in 1997, I believe. I actually really like this song. I usually listen to it on the way to work. So if you think you know the name of the song and the artist, I will put a Google form out, or you can email me at kbrad4@rvaschools.net and tell me the name of the song and the artist name. All right, so stay tuned for the notes. Hey guys, so this week we are going to compare and contrast graphs. So last week we learned about how to make a histogram, how it's measuring frequency, and how it's a little different from a bar graph. So right now we're going to incorporate circle graphs, stem and leaf plots, and line plots, all graphs that you have seen before, and just kind of compare and contrast what kind of displays the data better in different situations. So I already typed in my numbers. I actually have 20 numbers because I like, make it an easier number to do a circle graph with. So these are going to be my intervals, my tally, my frequency, and the percentage. So my intervals are going to be 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and 10 to 12. So looking at my data, I got a 1, 6, a 7 and 8, a 9, a 1, a 2, a 12, an 11, 2 5s, a 3, a 2, 2 10s, a 9, a 7, a 3 and a 2, a 4, an 8, and an 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's 21. So let's not count one of our 1 to 3s. Let's make that 5 to make our life a little easier. Oh, that's big. All right, so to get your percentage, let's see, 5 out of 20. This is going to be 25%. 4 out of 20. It's going to be 20%. We did that one already. And then 6 out of 20 will be 30%. So to do our intervals, I'm going to do this. So this is going to be 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12. All right. So the first one, we're going to do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second one had 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That one had 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one had 5 as well. So there's our histogram, a circle graph. So I like to kind of start with my halfway line, and we know 2 of these will be exactly 1/4. So this one's going to be, I'm going to do 10 to 12 here, and 1 to 3 here, because they both would be 25%. And the other one, I'm going to make this one slightly larger for my 30%, which would be 7 to 9. And this is going to be my 4 to 6 at 20%. So to do a line plot, I'm going to erase this right here. You would write your numbers. And I'm going to try to make them all fit. You will look okay. I have 1, 1. I have 3 2s. 1, 2, 3. I have 1, 2, 2 3s. All right. Do I have any 4s? Yep, I have 1 4. Do I have any 5s? Yep, I have 1 2, 2 5s. Do I have any 6s? Just 1 6. Do I have any 7s? 1, 2. Any 8s? 1, 2. Do I have any 9s? 1, 2. Any 10s? 1, 2. Do I have any 11s? 1, 2. And I have 1 12. So that's what a line plot will look like. So looking at those 3 different graphs, depending on how you want to see your data, I feel like the histogram kind of like makes it easier to see and compare versus like this line plot. First off, it takes a lot of work, and it's kind of hard to see it unless like you really want to see a certain trend. Circle graphs are always good to see kind of like where it falls as a whole. So like let's say we had test scores, and you're comparing the individual scores, but you're also looking at the whole class's average, so it kind of shows you where the class falls. All right, stem and leaf. So stem and leaves, if you remember that this is going to be your stem, this is going to be your leaf. The stem is going to be the digit in the tens place for this instance. And since 2 doesn't have a tens digit, you'll put 0, and then you'll put 2 here in the ones place. And they put it in order for us, guys. That is so nice. Your next stem will be 1, and you have 12, 12, 13. So that's 2, 2, 3. You have a 5, you have 8. Then your next stem will be a 2. Your leaves would be 0, 0, 1, 1. 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 6, 6, 6, 8, 9. And the next stem will be 3, and you have 2 30s and a 31. So this is kind of interesting to see because it's like directly related to your histograms, especially if your intervals are going up by a scale of 10, you can turn it on its side and it actually matches your histogram. Cool, right? So, histograms versus bar graphs. So, your histograms, they use bars to represent the data. They do not have spaces between the bars. The bars do not touch each other to represent the continuous nature of the data. You're going to divide the data into groups called intervals. Compared to a bar graph, they also use bars to represent the data, but they do have space between the bars, and the bars you know what, guys? I just realized that these two are in the wrong places. Whoopsies. Okay, let's try this again, guys. So they don't have spaces between them and they touch each other, compared to a bar graph where they do have spaces and the bars don't touch. Sorry, guys, I was reading my key backwards. And then you divide the data into categories. So when I say categories, it's kind of like trends. Like usually bar graphs will be like, okay, how many fruit did we sell? And then it goes by different types of fruit versus we are looking at scores. So typically bar graphs have more to do with qualitative data. And histograms do more with quantitative data. I hope I spelled those right. And quantitative data means numbers, and qualitative just means features. All right, so next. So just looking at your different types of graphs. So bar graphs are used to show category data. Circle graphs compare individual data to the whole. It just displays data as a percent of a whole. Histograms show continuous data and measures frequency. Line graphs typically measure data over time. Line plots just, it lets you record data values. And it'll show your exact values. Your stem and leaf plots records data in rows. And easily translates to a histogram. So those are your differences there. And if we look down here, so the table shows the number of visitors to the butterfly park during a 4-month period. Explain why each kind of display would or would not appropriately represent the data. So looking at this, since it's like looking at time, a line plot would do good. A bar graph would do pretty good since it's in categories. You could use a line plot. Yeah, this is supposed to be line graph, guys. Oh boy, almost there. You could use a circle graph. I'm gonna put that one in the middle because it depends on exactly what you're looking for. Like, are you looking at the months of a year, months of a season to compare to a whole? A stem and leaf plot would not work because stem and leaf kind of like looks more at frequency, like histograms. Histograms won't work because it's not measuring frequency. So it just depends on the data that you're trying to represent and what graph you would actually use. So these are just extra questions using different things, and we kind of already talked about the top part. So if we come to number 12, it says Mr. Richards lists the scores on the last math test in a stem and leaf plot. Which graph best describes the data? And you may be able to build another graph that might be appropriate to represent the data. So a line plot, even though you can take it from the time and make it into a graph, it's typically not used this way, so I probably wouldn't use that one. This kind of shows you as a whole where the class falls. And as you can see, the 80 to 89 range had the most frequency. For scores, I actually like to use histograms just because like it kind of shows you very simply where everybody falls and you don't have to kind of guess and look at it. You know exactly how many students got in the 50 range, the 60 range, the 70 range, the 80 range, and the 90 range. So I would actually use this graph the most. All right, so after this, there are some questions on Google Forms for you guys to answer, and that is all I have for you for today. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to me at kbrad4@rvaschools.net. And happy graphing.